wonder. She's really good about contacting me. So your test topics are right here. All the things we've done since the last test, and if you didn't quite catch what I said, you can listen also. I'm pretty much talking to Daniela right now. And these are things that if you study, those are the topics that'll be on the test. I wouldn't say that's all you need to study. When a teacher gives you a study guide, it means these are the topics on the test. If I click on a few of these evaluating functions and I feel like I'm not getting them correct, that means I need to get out some more of my evaluating function worksheets or go to Delta Math and look at evaluating functions. That means, oh, I just messed up on the stance or I messed up on my free throw shot. I need to practice some more. Okay, so you see it's just a skeleton. All right? And then also there will be some Delta Math that will say study for test on Monday, November 4th. All right, so here are our slides. Sorry, nobody sent me pictures of your class. The Jakes are incredible. I don't know how anybody's going to choose the winner. Sometimes the seniors win, and I think it's rigged, but they've won 2 years. So the seniors, when the current seniors won as like, I don't know, maybe class 9 and class 10 or something. A lot of people were really shocked. So,
what were they?
1 year they were Dr. Spicer. Oh my gosh, it was hysterical. When we walked into the gym, now that I think about it, we were in the gym that year. And Dr. Spicer, faculty were laughing at the door, and I'm like, this is hysterical. They all look like Dr. Spicer, but he was actually sitting in the middle of them and you couldn't find them. They were all little Dr. Spicers. They were so funny. And then another year, they were barbecue dads. They had beer bellies and aprons and utensils and that was last year. I think it won. You can maybe correct me on that.
Yeah, that's actually.
I think they won. I just remember what they were. Okay, so anyway, we've got the seniors sent me pictures, so we'll just have that.
I saw that.
Let's see. Okay, so those will be our slides today, and here we go. All right, so that you are organized, and if you want to get something out, that's fine. If you want to just listen, that's also fine, because it'll be in class notes. Some of you just have to revisit this. Okay, so, well, they didn't send me pictures. I actually took these pictures, but anyway, got them. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is this worksheet right here, okay? But actually the quiz you just got back. All right, so that's a big old messy slide, but isn't that awesome? They look so good. And Lucille is hysterical with her phone. So anyway, so remember this on class slides if you want to look at them again. Y'all can send me pictures if y'all have some of Jake from State Farm, and I can make slides with those.
Yeah, we took pictures during gyms.
Well, you can email them to me, and it would be fun slides. Okay, on the evaluating functions, if you stay with me, I'll say what number I'm on. All right, it looks like this. I'm not going to really try to draw it really well right now, but you see a picture like that on your quiz. Yeah, Bailey, you can do your thing, okay? All right, so if I do A, f of 1, from the graph, you go to 1, and it looks like it's at what? It means somebody filled in 1, and what did they get? Or what did you get on your paper? You probably got it right. 1A.
4. It's 5.
4A?
It's
A? Oh, you have different tests.
Oh, it's different ones. Sorry about that. Okay. So, so let's just say this, because you had different quizzes. I've forgotten that. If I asked you for f of 0, you would say 4. If I asked you for f of 1, you would say 5. If I asked you so if I say f of 0, everybody that didn't have that question could still look at their sheet. And at 0, somebody went up 1, 2, 3, 4. And so the answer to that is 4. Remember, this is my question. This is your answer. Okay? A little review before we go on to another sheet in a minute. How would you write that as a point? Right now, it's in function notation. Okay? Yana, I saw your hand first. How would you write that as a point?
So in parentheses, 0, 4.
Okay, so that's another way to write that. All right, so you can write it in function notation, and you can write it as a point, and I'll tell you which ones I want. All right. So now I think what was a little bit more difficult that, wow, y'all have made great headway on as a class is when you run into one later that says something like f of x equals 8, or what did the other quiz say? F of x equals 5. All right, if it says f of x equaled 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. F of x equals 8, I see 2 times that happens. Okay? So if you look at your paper, in case you didn't have this question, f of x equals 8, I gave you the answer, so you're looking for your what? I gave you your y, what are you looking for? Your x's. All right, so I believe it was 8, I'm sorry, it's dark up here for me. It looked like it was 8 at 2 and negative 2. Okay? Those of you that had f of 5, it happened like these, well, I didn't quite go down far enough, f of 5. It happened at these 2 times, which was that 1 and negative 1, I think. So that happened 2 times. It's not fair just to say 1 or negative 1. It happens at both of those. All right, now I'm not gonna. We even had this on the last test, the bottom part. Okay, so I'm not gonna belabor that point. You can look at your quiz and see me. Most of y'all did really well on the quiz. So the biggest question is probably the last one on everybody's sheet. I think you all had g of x is equal to 16. Is that correct, everybody, or did somebody have g of x equal something else? Okay. At the top of the page, watch my fancy penmanship here. You have g of x is equal to 3x squared plus 4. Okay? Now, if you said, Miss Lazari is my math teacher, okay, then what equals math teacher? Miss Lazari. What equals Miss Lazari? I'm your math teacher. What am I telling you here? G of x equals g of x equals 3x squared plus 4. So where am I going to put this? What did I tell you it was? I told you, did I tell you that was x?
No.
I told you that was,
Why?
well, literally it says equals what? G of x. So do you see, where's g of x?
Right there.
Right. Do y'all see what I mean? Okay.
Okay, yes.
All right, so I told you the answer, and that's what a lot of y'all were saying. So I told you the answer, I told you the y, and you're supposed to find the x that makes that happen. So what we should have done is 3x squared plus 4 equals 16. Subtract 4, and you get 3x squared equals 12. Divide by 3, and you get x squared is equal to 4. And what can you square to get 4? Not just 2. What else can you square to get 4, Rebecca? Negative 2. And so those of you that don't want to, you never even have to go down to the square root part of it. You can just think to yourself, what would be the answer to this question? What do you square to get 25? 5 or negative 5. They are equally correct, okay? All right, so let's put that aside, and if you have more questions on that, write them down or come see me. All right, the next thing I want to get out, and I'll pull this up on the screen because some of you may not have printed it off. And I don't think it's in my list of things to study, which I'll explain in just a minute. But I'm going to get out a sheet about domain and range because here's the deal. In class, I don't want to do everything I posted on the assignment page because then you don't know if you could do it by yourself. So do you see how I'm trying to leave some things for you to practice on the assignment page? And we will click through all of those so you see what they are. All right, so I'm going to go back to our assignment page for today. And I posted extra practice down here, which some of you maybe never got to. Okay? But there's only 15 people in the class, but I had a good amount of people come by this morning and during lunch and work with me on this. Okay? So let's look at domain first. When you're looking at domain, hang on just a second. Let's pull this into our notebook. we'll do these 6 right now. Okay. And the other 6 you can look at. I will, I don't think I put it on the website. But I did plenty of things similar to this. Okay. So my domain, when it's like, let's do this one first. Okay, let's do number 2 first, and I have a reason for that. For domain, you're going to always scroll across and name your X's. Okay? Now this, in my analogies I keep giving you, I have no idea if this is a store, but you see they sell a lot of things. Okay? So tell me the first thing they sell. Can you read that? -5. Tell me when to stop.
Stop.
All right, that's -5 to 5. Is -5 included? So I'm also reviewing you on interval notation. -5 has an open circle, if you can see where from your desk, and so it is not included. And so I would do a parentheses, -5, and is +5 has a closed circle, that means you land on 5. And so 5 is included, and that's a bracket. And I'm going to try to write that better. So that was parentheses, -5 to 5. Okay, the range is your Y values. In my analogies that I use, it's sort of like you've gone and ordered a bunch of food at Le Pen, and now you've got to pay for it, all right? So you can only order things off their menu also, right? Okay, so tell me the first number I get to. Sorry, all right, tell me the first number I get to. It happens right here, okay? That is -2 to 2. Good, thank you. All right, so it's -2 to 2. So I'm reviewing you also on domain and range and interval notation at the same time. All right, so it's -2 to 2. Can y'all see the 2's definitely included? It definitely hits 2. Something definitely costs $2. This can be confusing. That's, I think, why people came by this morning. There's an open circle here. That 2 is not included. But there are some other things that cost 2. Do y'all see what I mean? That -2, as I come up, it is included somewhere. Your range is like, the students that are in my class. So you might sit in a different desk, but you're still here. So that is included. And so these are both brackets. Now let's do the vertical line test. Is this a function? Yes, that is a function. All right, let's do this one, number 3. All right, so domain. It sort of looks like before my last class that you would say like -5 to maybe 5 or something.
Yeah.
But what do those arrows mean?
It goes on forever.
It's going out and up and down forever. It's just going this, this, and this, okay? Bigger and bigger and bigger. So it really is going from -infinity to +infinity. My domain, those arrows mean I don't stop, okay? So I'm going from -infinity to +infinity. Or you can say all real numbers. That's okay too. All right, and the good thing about this graph is this one's pretty easy. What about my domain? All real numbers? Okay, so it's the same thing. That one's all real numbers. And then, is it a function? Whoa. Yeah, it is a function. Yes, you can write yeah, that would be awesome. Okay, so it is a function. I'm going to do one more, and I said no hands up, and there's hands up. So write your question down, okay? Let's go to number 6. And in fairness, in just a minute, I'll pause after this one and let you ask your question. Okay, now, my domain. What is it?
Infinity.
Where am I coming from?
Negative
Negative infinity, and I stop at,
I don't know what it is.
that's 4, all right? So this one's negative infinity to 4 inclusive. Negative infinity to 4. All right, let's do our range. I don't know where my line went. All right, so my range. Good, thank you. All right, so 0, and that arrow means it keeps going up. So 0 to infinity. 0 is included. And now, is it a function? Yes. All right, now what are we going to do about one of these? Or one of these? Okay? As I move my line across, okay? Is there anything over here yet?
No.
So it stops at negative 3. So I'm going to list that. I'm going to go. A good way to do this is say x is equal to negative 3 and x is equal to. Is there anything in between here? I don't see another x until I get to 2. 2. Okay? I'm going to let you go when it's time to let you go. It really makes me mad when you pack up before I've dismissed you. So why don't we not do that? And these are really important things. Okay, now, plus it'll take a while for everybody to get in the gym anyway. Let me just stop and say this is not a function. Do you see that touching way more than one point in the vertical line test? All right, you wouldn't go from negative 3 to 2 like interval notation. Do you see you would not do that?
Yeah.
Because there's nothing in between here. So don't tell me there is. Now the range is kind of weird. My range, where am I coming from? Negative infinity?
Stopping.
It does, but doesn't it pick up on another location? So your range really incorporates every y value from negative infinity to positive infinity. All real numbers, and it's not a function. Okay? If I give you one like this, and stay with me, we may even go a little longer because you're close to the gym, okay? You'll get there. If I wanted you to say the domain of this one, it's what we call discrete. I can't give it an interval because it's not going across. It's just bam, 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 bam. So my first value is negative 3. X could also equal negative 2 as I move across. X is equal to 1. X is equal to 2. And there is something at x is equal to 5. Okay? Do y'all see why I could not just go the interval from negative 3 to 5?
Yeah.
Okay? And then I'm not going to do it right now, but you would list your y values individually. Okay? Just like I did there. And I'll open up that assignment that I just pulled this off of with the answers will expire later today, but I'll open it up until next week. So I'll incorporate it into the review or something. You'll see it on assignments. All right, now this is a function. I only hit one point at a time. Okay? All right, now I still have a few things to say, so we're going to sit in here, so just get used to it for just a few more minutes. Okay, raise your hand if you have a question on what we just did. Okay, Susan?
I still don't really understand, when there's a circle on the sheet.
That's not included, so you leave it open. That's an open parentheses. That means a parentheses. Yana?
So for the first graph, it lets you have to write x equals -3 and then x equals.
Because it jumps over to it.
Because it jumps over. And I think on the answer sheet it said -2 for some reason, but that's probably wrong, right?
Let's check.
Oh yeah, the
top
first
one.
the top. Yeah. So you just-
That's wrong. It should say 2. So y'all make a note of that. Thank you, Yana. Victor?
Just a quick question. When we were doing, I think it was doesn't matter, but they were using the U. What is the union again?
That means union or and. So let's look at that real quickly.
So I would use that.
All right.
in
So I'm going to do, Sarah. Question? Let me go back.
Yeah, I just have a question. It's negative infinity, positive infinity, like interchangeable with all real numbers.
Yes. You can say either one. Okay, good questions. All right, now let's just make sure you don't miss interval notation, okay? If you're going from negative infinity to negative 7, how could you write that in, I don't even like this one. I'm gonna give you another one to study. I didn't put this one on your study sheet.
I didn't get that.
Oh,
That's
well,
why
what
I
you
used
would
the
do
lunch. That's why I
is
used
you
the
would
lunch.
say x is less than or equal to negative 7, and,
So X became the infinity?
or maybe, you gotta kind of think how delta math, less than. Okay, if I'm coming from negative infinity and I stop at negative 7, do you see it's everything less? This is everything less than negative 7
Okay.
and everything greater than 0.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I think in delta math here I've got to use the or. X is greater than or equal to, let's see, 0. I got to be really careful here. Watch this. Okay? Are these bracketed or parentheses? Okay. And so do you see how I left it without the or equal to? I don't know if this is how delta math even wants me to write it. We're about to find out. Okay? All right. Now, the last thing that we're going to do, because we've done all of this stuff over and over and over again, here's your matching worksheets, okay? If you wanted like a new batch to give it a try, you know, it's the same ones you've seen, but it's a great batch. And then here's the answers that you can try it and you can check and see how you're doing. I'm not sure what's happening, but not now. You're probably going to remember a lot of the letters, you know, so I don't know if that's as helpful as something else that I've provided to you, like domain and range on delta math and some other things. Sorry, that's taken a while. Extra practice, I think I did provide you this sheet. Remember that Yana pointed out that -2 thing was wrong, okay? So I did provide you that. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong thing. Oh, so for the test. Domain and range or answers are right here. And so let's go into biology and opening all sorts of stuff. I'm sorry. Anyway, Word's just going absolutely crazy right now. I think this is what I just opened. But it gives you all of the answers to all of these questions. All right, now evaluating functions. Remember this one? You studied it for a quiz, and then the next document, I believe, is the answers to that. So you can study, you can fill in, okay, and check your answers. And then more evaluating functions. And you should have the answers to this entire worksheet. Do you remember it was 4 pages that we did over time? It's not time to go. Sit down. Your test is way more important than being there first in the assembly. They're not going to start without us. Evaluating functions from graphs. I'll tell you what, if you don't care about the test, you can leave. Okay. So this is like a bunch of questions, and we did this in class, and you should have the answers. If you want the answers to anything I have not provided, then you can certainly email me, and I'll probably send it to the whole class. But please look in your notebook first. And then I gave you some even more practice. I thought you might want a little more on domain and range with answers. So I gave you that. So the last thing I'm going to say is, and then you can go and run up to the gym. You can study any or all of these, depending on how well you want to do on the test, in addition to checking what I posted on Delta Math. And the Delta Math will say, study for the test Monday, November 4th. So you don't have to ask me what to study. Delta Math and these worksheets, and more if you'd like. Goodbye. And stay if you still have a question. Yana?
Yeah.